the real information that was put out by the U.S. Trade Representative, by the White House later on, did spell out which countries were getting hit by tariffs, how much those tariffs are going to be, and of course, it's a really big deal. These are the biggest tariffs since the days of the Great Depression. These are things that we saw back in the times of President McKinley, a hero of President Trump's.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with policy editor Joe Lawler. Joe, this week President Trump rolled out this big tariff policy. What is Trump trying to accomplish with all of this?
Yeah, I think this was a day that Trump was waiting on for a long time. He implemented his favorite economic policy, which is tariffs. And I think what he's trying to accomplish is a bit of a mystery to everyone else in the world, including our trading partners and many in the U.S. Senate and House. But the goals that he's identified are bringing jobs back to the United States, bringing manufacturing jobs to our states that have seen manufacturing base crumble over the years, and also bringing revenues into the U.S.
So there has been some criticism of, obviously, the idea of the policy overall and whether it will actually accomplish those goals, but also just of some of the charts that were put out and some of the countries that he levied tariffs against. What were some of the criticisms stemming from this week's announcement?
Yeah, the rollout was a bit chaotic, and we didn't know what he was going to announce right up until the very moment that it was rolled out in the Rose Garden, right? He really kept us in suspense with that one. And I think what we saw was a reflection of that, the fact that it really wasn't settled until the last moment. And the charts that were put up at the White House Rose Garden ceremony included a lot of countries that it turns out were not subject to tariffs at all. So many small nations, it seemed like we're going to get hit with huge tariffs, and then it turns out they're actually going to get away scot-free. So that was a bit of a head fake, but the real information that was put out by the U.S. Trade Representative, by the White House later on, did spell out which countries were getting hit by tariffs, how much those tariffs are going to be, and of course, it's a really big deal. These are the biggest tariffs since the days of the Great Depression. These are things that we saw back in the times of President McKinley, a hero of President Trump's.
Wow, so it's been a while.
It has been.
In addition to sort of reshoring or onshoring some of these manufacturing capabilities that have gone to these countries with cheaper labor, there's some proponents of the policy that would say Trump is also trying to maybe accomplish some non-tariff goals and to try to sort of strike new bilateral trade deals with individual countries. Do you think that's part of what he's trying to do here? And is there any evidence that that's going to work given how angry some of our allies are?
Yeah, I think for Trump, tariffs are the Swiss Army knife of economic policy tools, right?
Oh, that's a good line.
It can be used for any purpose. So it can be used to try to bring down the trade deficit. It can be used to try to bring manufacturing jobs back. But it can also be used as a negotiating tool to get trading partners to agree to whatever he might want at that moment. For instance, he's sought to get Canada and Mexico to crack down on illegal immigration and drug trafficking. So yeah, it's not something that is a very narrowly used policy. It's something that Trump wants to use to accomplish a whole range of goals.
And finally, we've seen some consternation on Capitol Hill, right, among Republicans. Do you think that he can keep his party together behind this sort of thing long enough for them to have the desired effect?
Well, over the years, Congress has given a lot of authority to the president to implement tariffs unilaterally. And it would take 2/3 of the Congress, the House and the Senate, to peel that back. Are we going to see that? Probably not. There are certainly those within the party who've objected to the use of the tariffs, including Senators Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, but it would take a really big rebellion within the Republican Party to actually stop Trump from using these tariffs. I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon.
Well, Joe, thank you for explaining all of that to me. I do not know that much about tariffs, so really appreciate it. Thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
You can get more reporting from Joe and the rest of the policy team at washingtonexaminer.com.